have three questions. The first question is, I'm a big believer in using herbs and spices to take kind of your standard basic protein and make it a little bit new and exciting. And I was wondering, what are some of your favorite tips and unique ideas for changing up flavors?
Well, I have lots of tips, so I'll share three of my favorite ones with you today. And it's all about adding real ingredients to your meals, and when you do that, you're going to be adding lots of flavor. And I've teamed up with Hellmann's to be able to do just that. And the first tip is about what you might normally find maybe at a barbecue, which is a burger. So instead of just your typical beef burger, what I suggest is change that up a little bit. What I have here is what I call magically moist turkey burger. And instead of just adding ingredients on top like the lettuce and mayonnaise or lettuce and tomato, what I suggest is add ingredients right inside the turkey burger mixture. So there's red bell pepper and onion right inside the mixture. So that's going to add some flavor and some interest, but also in there is mayonnaise. And I think what's really cool about that is going to add a lot of moistness. So if you start with a really lean meat, it's going to create that moistness that some people might be missing. And also what a lot of people don't know about mayonnaise is that the Hellmann's Real Mayonnaise contains simple ingredients like eggs, vinegar, and oil. And it also contains omega-3 ALA. And so what that does is we're going to have a better for you burger, and it's also going to be tastier at the same time. So just something a little bit different than your typical burger.
You know, I might have to try adding mayonnaise to my bison burgers because
all right, yes.
Dry out easy.
Absolutely, yeah. So something that's extremely lean like that, definitely give it a shot. I think you'll find it quite enjoyable. And the second tip to share with you today is thinking beyond salt and pepper. So going with some herbs and spices, which you were talking about. And why I suggest doing that is for a couple reasons. One, if you have something that maybe you serve over and over and you're kind of getting tired of it, herbs and spices can really add some flair, but it also can potentially boost antioxidants. So that's going to be a win-win when you're talking about nutrition and taste. And just experiment. So I don't suggest experimenting with 10 at a time, but 1 at a time is a good idea. So here, for instance, I have a whole wheat couscous and black bean salad. And instead of just parsley, I've added thyme, which I know you're all about, thyme. And what that does is it creates kind of some fresh summer appeal. And I like a little kick, so a little pinch of cayenne in there as well is going to create a little bit of interest, boost flavors a bit as well. So just when you're thinking of spices, think a pinch, and when you're thinking of herbs, think several pinches, and just have some fun. I mean, that's what cooking to me is all about.
Definitely.
Yeah, and my third tip to share with you, Jennifer, is about going big, colorful, and seasonal with your vegetables. So I think we all know vegetables are good for us and we want to eat them, but think about a few things when you're doing that. One, eat all of the colors because all of them do count, even your white vegetables. So whether it's white asparagus or white onions or cauliflower, all of those count too. So every different color is going to provide slightly different nutritional value. So eat all of them and go with what's in season as well, because when we do that, it's going to be most robust in flavor, and it's also going to be easiest on our wallet, which is important for a lot of people, I know. And so what I've done here today is I have a coleslaw, so it's pretty common in the summertime, I would say. And instead of just green cabbage, I have red cabbage too, some white onions. And what I really love to do with the coleslaw, I can serve it on the side, but I secretly love to put it right on top of the burger. So it just creates a lot more interest and flair.
Those are great tips. Thank you so much.
Oh, sure.
Speaking of tips, in your book, The Big Green Cookbook, you give tips on greening your cooking.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering, maybe you have some tips for moms that not only can we be greening our cooking, but also speeding up our meal preparation?
Well, I think what you can do is if you start with something that's so flavorful to start with, and that goes back to your produce, your seasonal produce, you don't really have to do a whole lot with it, and you don't necessarily have to spend a lot of time in the kitchen. So for instance, a coleslaw, it's a raw salad. So you just chop up the vegetables and whip up a vinaigrette or even purchase a vinaigrette and you're done. So look at recipes and don't necessarily go go to something that's challenging, but go with something that's basic and you can play with it if you want. So, and that's where the herbs and spices come in. So something like whole wheat couscous, that cooks up in 5 minutes. So that's super simple. And play with another grain. So quinoa is something that I really love.
My favorite.
Yeah, so because one, it's a whole grain, so that's great, and we want to incorporate more whole grains, but it's also cooks so quickly, and that's something I know, like you're saying, a lot of people don't want to spend a whole lot of time. So that's playing around with the different grains, I think, is a good way to start that too.
Great. And a last question is, you had actually just mentioned omega-3 in the mayonnaise, and I think a lot of people hear of omega-3s, and they think, well, I don't have any heart problems. But we all know it's really important for all of us to have that in our diet. And I'm just wondering if you can share maybe some other, again, I'm after you for tips, besides mayonnaise, which is great, are there other, condiments or other food staples that we probably have around that we can easily incorporate into our diet?
Well, if you're talking about omega-3s, well, we can always throw some salmon on the grill instead of a burger. That would be one way, absolutely a great way to do it. You can incorporate some nuts as well, some walnuts. So walnuts, if you chop them up finely, sprinkle them right onto the coleslaw. So it's going to just kind of up the ante a little bit. So and just pick whatever you enjoy. So if you like mayonnaise, incorporate more mayonnaise. If you're a salmon lover, incorporate salmon more often. So and we just want to be thinking about starting with real ingredients. I think that's the best place to get started.
Well, thank you. That was wonderful, and it's a lot of great tips.
Oh, sure. Yeah, and if you want more, do check out hellmans.com. Lots more tips and recipes there.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jennifer.